Hello, and welcome to another BTFO. Today we're going to be checking out and discussing Greenland 2 Migration. And who knows, maybe in a couple weeks they can call it Greenland 3 Integration. But no, all jokes aside, this one was kind of interesting for me because I have not seen the first Greenland. I don't have much of a desire to. From what I can tell, it's kind of a generic, like, disaster movie. Everyone that I've talked to says that, like, it's fine. That, like, I guess it's pretty alright as far as the disaster genre goes. But I was curious about Greenland 2 just from the fact that there is a Greenland 2. I don't know how many franchises have really tried going from a disaster movie to a post-apocalyptic movie. That to me is kind of interesting. Like, I guess you could argue maybe Mad Max, but even that, it's like, the first one, like, technically is pre-apocalypse, but it's pretty close. But so this one was kind of interesting, and I will say that in the regards of it being a post-apocalyptic movie, it seems pretty clear from watching it that they did not want to make that movie, which is just bizarre to me, because it's like, well, but you have to. Like, you made an apocalyptic movie, so if you're gonna make a sequel, it has to be post-apocalyptic. But, like, other than food and water, which are the two resources that they constantly talk about, and occasionally they'll throw in shelter. Other than that, there is no, like, resource struggle, which is really bizarre. Like, they just drive mostly everywhere, and, like, even the lifeboats still have gas on them that works, and this is 5 years after the world has been sent into chaos, and like, they're talking about, like, oh, you know, like, we can talk to, like, the UK government and stuff, and it's like, I'm sorry, like, but when, like, half the world gets decimated from like, this big asteroid, like, you know, like, they show that, like, there's a significant portion of England that is just underwater, and it's like, yeah, that's not, like, I don't think the governments are really maintaining their control, you know, like, that's, at that point, it's just everyone fends for themselves. And I don't know, it's kind of weird where, like, they just sort of say, oh yeah, the super secure base in Greenland. It's one of those things where I would be really kind of curious, like, if there was a person that got really invested in the first Greenland, how do they feel about the first, like, 10 minutes of this movie being like, oh yeah, that super secure base, that, like, the whole goal of the first one for them to get there, yeah, that just falls apart the second there's an earthquake, actually. Like, it all breaks up, everyone has to leave. It's like, oh, okay. Like, that must be pretty lame. And then, like, I found it bizarre throughout this film. Like, nobody really questions whether they can trust people. Like, it is the nicest post-apocalypse that I've ever seen. Like, there's one moment where they're trying to get to the lifeboat after Greenland has fallen, and like, they've got some people that are, like, trying to push other people down so that they can get on the lifeboat too, and they're just like, nope, we don't have enough room. leave, and it's like, oh, okay, like, I guess we're not really dealing with the consequences of, like, oh, so those people are gonna die, right? Like, is that a discussion we want to have? And their kid is, like 15 in this. I don't know, it feels really weird because it has a lot of concepts in the movie that it doesn't feel like they ever really want to address. And it's like, no, guys, that's kind of the point in doing a post-apocalyptic story. It's like, you get to address how does humanity react to all this stuff. And I did find it weird that Gerard Butler's character, the main character, we learn, like, really early on, I think it's the end of, like, the first act, that he is dying definitively. Like, there is no saving him. He's going to die. And it's like, oh, all right. Like, that's a choice. Like, are you really gonna do anything with that? Because you would think that, given he's our main character, and given that you've set up, no, he will die, that, like, that's not a part of the story we're changing. Like, there is no saving him. He's going to die. You'd think that the people that they'd run into along their journey to the Safe Haven crater, you'd think that maybe they'd reflect different aspects of his personality, maybe, like, a person he used to be, maybe, he's trying to do all this for his family. They have a guy who drives them from Liverpool to London, and all he wants is Gerard's watch, which is really bizarre when it's like, guys, this is a post-apocalypse. Like, I know from watching Nicholas Diorio that, like, watches can be worth an obscene amount of money, but I don't think that applies to the post-apocalypse, if, like, we're being honest. But, like, he gives him his watch, and he's like, yep, I'll drive you there. And they never question, like, oh, can we trust this guy? Like, is he gonna try and backstab us or anything? Like, they don't really do that. They have him give his backstory right before he dies, and it's like, oh, well, that was that character. It's like, man, you could do something with that. You could have Gerard Butler's trying to do all this for his family, and maybe it gets revealed at some point that, like, Obi had a family, and he chose to leave them to continue to survive. Maybe he regrets that choice now, but it could put Gerard Butler on edge and be like, I don't know if I really trust this guy. But, like, they don't do that. And it gets really annoying because, like, they do run into, very briefly, marauders. The plot is very much an and-then plot, where they're just sort of going on a drive from Greenland to South France, and like, every so often there's, like, a weather event or marauders or a bridge they have to cross, and it's like, oh, okay, that just happened, moving on. Like, it feels very much like, oh man, people might be getting bored right now, let's throw in some, like, exciting action piece. And it's like, people might not get so bored if you, like, actually wrote a story here. I mean, if you actually gave us characters that were, like, really interesting. And, like, even with the marauders and stuff, and the French guy that they end up running into, it gets really annoying where they keep firing a lot of their bullets, and it's like, guys, this is 5 years into the post-apocalypse. are there a lot of people manufacturing bullets, or like, like what's going on? Like, I think those would be very valuable, because like the French guy fires a warning shot, and it's like, dude, just yell, like, like that will accomplish the same thing, like, just yell out, like, hey, I've got a gun, don't move, like, that accomplishes the same thing, and you didn't waste a bullet, especially when he's got a double-barreled shotgun. So it's like, okay, so you've got one shot left, maybe. It's like, man, because it makes me think about Mad Max and the fact that, like, he's got a shotgun with empty shells. He uses that quite effectively. But yeah, it's bizarre, and like they meet the French family, and the dad is like, okay, my daughter, she's about the age of your kid, and he seems into her, so why don't you just take her to the safe haven? But right now the safe haven is being fought over by two different factions. The Western Front, who are all about freedom, and then the insurgents that are a dictatorship. And it's like, that's not... Why are they called the insurgents? Like, it's like, I mean, I guess they could be, like, they could have insurgents among them, right? But, like, that feels really weird. It feels like it would be the other way around, right? Like, wouldn't the freedom-loving people, wouldn't they be sending insurgents into the dictatorship to try and, like, topple it from the inside? Like, I don't know, I guess it can work both ways, but it seems a lot harder to believe that, like, oh yeah, this ruthless dictatorship that, like, really are opposed to killing people, we'll get to that. But they're the ones sending insurgents into the freedom group to try and, like, what are they even supposed to do once they're there? Like, just go, hey guys, like, I know that we love fighting for freedom and stuff, but have you guys ever thought that, like, maybe that's just not that cool? Like, it's like, I don't know, man, I don't think that's gonna go over too well. But yeah, and like, I don't know, it was also a weird scene where they have, for some reason, the mom in the French group, and I kind of get the feeling that they just did this. I mean, it does accomplish two things, where it gives them a reason to actually give away the daughter, and it gives them a reason to, like, to have the dad stay with the mom, but she's, like, in a wheelchair and can't speak. And to me, it feels really weird where, like, they have the daughter, like, say her goodbyes, and, like, the mom's crying, and it's like, I don't know, guys, if you change the music on this, like, this is kind of horrifying. The idea that, oh, my husband just met these complete strangers in the post-apocalyptic world and is, like, giving my daughter away to them, and I have no capacity to say anything. Like, I have to sit here and watch that happen. It's like, yeah, that's kind of horrifying. Like, did anyone think about that? Like, I don't know, man. It seems really weird. Like, maybe you should have made her, like, able to speak so that she could actually consent to that. But, like, they go and they get into the war zone, which is a very peaceful war zone. Like, there's a bunch of people shooting, but, they were all able to dig trenches, and, like, not a whole lot of people are dead. The one commander that they're there to see, he died. And then they're like, okay, like, it's weird. They have Gerard Butler be like, look, I'm dying. Is there anything you can do for me, please? And they're like, okay, fine. Instead of waiting a month or something, for the bus. Why don't you just get on the one that's about to leave right now? And it's like, oh, okay, so you were just being an asshole to Gerard Butler? Like, you know, it's leaving right now. Why would you want civilians in your, like, war camp for the next month? But, so they get on the bus, and they're driving over to the crater, and then the insurgents intercept, and they pull out their guns, and they shoot the Western Front people that are on the bus, and then they yell, okay, everyone get off of the bus. And it's like, why? Like, I'm confused. Why did the insurgents that are fighting for, like, a dictatorship regime, why do they want the civilians off of the bus? Is the bus the only thing they care about? Wouldn't they want to take the civilians to, like, you know, either get, like, forced labor out of them or have them, like, you know, you guys are gonna be our front line. You know, we need more bodies to throw at the enemy. Like, you know, it seems really weird that they're like, nope, everyone off the bus. Because it's like, it's not even that cool of a bus, man. Like, it's kind of a lame bus, but alright, like, and, but that allows Gerard Butler to, get the better of them, because, you know, I guess he has to be the action hero, and for some reason the insurgents that are like, you know, we keep getting told that, oh, they're these really bad dudes. For some reason, they're very hesitant to actually use their guns. But so Gerard Butler is able to kill them, and then they get to the crater, and he's like, oh man, we made it. And then he dies. And that's the end of the movie. And he gives a little speech about how, like, you know, there are good people in the world, and we can all make the world a better place, and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, you know, I think that message would land a bit harder if you actually, like, presented the world in this movie as a terribly fucked up place. But, like, for the most part, they run into a lot of strangers that they can just trust. Like, there's a big, like, canyon over where the canal between Britain and France used to be. And, like, there's these two sets of bridges that are basically ladders that have been tied down to a rock on either side. And, like, they show that everyone is just peacefully passing along those. And it's like, really? You wouldn't have, like, one person with a gun that's like, okay, like, give me something, like, you know, give me something so that you can pass. You know, you wouldn't even have, like, a crazy person there that's like, nah, you have to answer my riddles to get past. Like, you know, it's like, no, everyone's just super nice and chill and waits their turn and lets everyone cross the bridge. And it's like, oh, yeah, movie, like, if you want to present this as a, hey, you can be the positive change in the world, maybe presenting a negative world would, like, make that message land. But as it is, it's like, well, I don't know, Gerard, like, the world seems pretty dang good as it is, but okay, sure. So yeah, I guess that's my thoughts on Greenland 2. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not, like, for all my gripes, it's not a terribly offensive movie. You know, it's easily something that I can see a lot of people just turning on in the background and going like, oh, yeah, this is neat. I like it. You know, like, I would be kind of shocked if I heard anyone be like, oh, I hate this movie. But it is just, it's a lot of wasted potential and a lot of weird contrivances. So I wouldn't recommend it, but I don't think you'll lose anything really by watching it. So yeah, thanks for watching. and bye bye.